All right, welcome in another edition here of Puck Time. And yes, I am not Carmine Bianco. I have absolutely no where Carmine Bianco is, except I woke up to a message that says, can you host Puck Time? And I said, absolutely, because if I've got Bryan Leonard and Don Buster in the house with me here, this is going to be very easy as we've got a 10-game slate of NHL action here tonight, coming down to the nitty-gritty here, gents. Just a handful of games left in the regular season. Postseason will be here before you know it. My Florida Panthers will, without a doubt, be a topic of conversation here today. We got a few other games of note that we want to go over. It's a pleasure to see you guys. Feels like it's been a hot minute, but it's good to have you in the seats next to me here talking to NHL. And let's start with that Detroit Red Wings Florida Panthers game. In fact, I know somebody might be in attendance in that game here tonight. I'll just let you know that. But Bryan Leonard, let's start with you here, my friend. We saw much more reminiscent of the Panther team we know last game against Toronto than whatever the hell we got those 4 or 5 games prior to that. But what do you think we're going to get tonight on the home ice as a $2 favorite against the Red Wings?
Yeah, both of these teams have played well the last 30 days in 5-on-5 play. Detroit has an expected goal share of 55.09, Florida 53.63, both pretty good. During that time, it's the Red Wings, though, with the better record, 6-7-1 to 5-8-1 for the Panthers. Red Wings currently stand 8 points behind the Canadiens with 5 games remaining on the schedule. They're in a 4-way tie right now with the Islanders, Rangers, and Blue Jackets, so obviously they need to win all 5 games remaining and hope for a little bit of luck in that regard to make the playoffs. The problem is they face Florida, Tampa Bay, Dallas, New Jersey, and Toronto. Now, if there's any good news in that, is that some of those teams will likely be lacking any playoff seeding discrepancies by the time Detroit meets them, so maybe they'll play their bench players. So Detroit's still alive, but they're barely holding on here. Detroit's a perfect 2-0 this season against the Panthers, including a 2-1 home win on Sunday. 4 of the last 5 games are to be played on the road, and Detroit is just 18-4 on the road this season. So it's an upward climb here for Johnny Detroit's Red Wings to make the playoffs. Quick revenge here for the Panthers, and they just got a few players back into the lineup, as you pointed out. They were really banged up, and they brought a few guys back, so they really helped them. They just broken a 5-game losing streak on Tuesday, 3-1 win over Toronto. You know, Florida deserves to be the favorite here, but I think the betting value is on Detroit. Florida, as good as Florida is, it's hard to turn it on and turn it off. And right now, the way that they've been playing as opposed to the way Detroit's been playing, I think we're looking at a closer game here. So I prefer the Detroit side here. I think there's value in the underdog.
Liking the underdog here tonight, a little bit of value. 5.5, Don. So it doesn't appear like maybe any sort of shootout in the future here tonight of this game. But the money has been slow, but it's been coming in on Florida here. What do you think of them as a $2 favorite here?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? I haven't been on a show with Bryan for probably about 3 or 4 years on a Puck Time show, and I hate like hell to go up against my buddy here, but I really like Florida here, and I'll tell you why. The nail was put in the Red Wings' coffin when Montreal beat them on Tuesday night, and I really don't know how they even get up for this. Now that they are basically out of the playoffs, I think Montreal is sitting at a 9. I read somewhere, I could be wrong, but, you know, reading stuff on the internet, you're not always getting everything, but I thought I said Montreal has a 98% chance of making the playoffs. And Florida do have a lot to play for here. They have instant revenge, which I always like, for a 3-1 Detroit win on Sunday. And I believe they do get the win in this spot for sure. Now, Florida has 4 games left, and they're fighting it out for playoff positioning with Tampa, Toronto, and Carolina. So, all these teams would rather have home ice advantage for the most part. Of course, I never lay 200, 205, what we're getting with Florida. But I think the play here, going against my brother Bryan, is I think Florida to win in regulation is a good play in this one. As for the total, at 5.5, really don't want any part of this, but as always, I will give you a few trends to help people who want to bet this total. Both teams have been trending under. Florida 7-3 last 10 to the under. Detroit are 6-4 last to the under as well. And Florida's played 5 straight unders, so that's something there. They have played twice this year, 1 over, 1 under. The total is just too tough at 5.5 for my liking. Just add a couple more things why I'm on the Panthers. Detroit 1-9 last 10 on the road. Florida 8-1 last 9 at home. Can't lay the big juice. Give me Florida in regulation.
Big talk in this neck of the woods as well. Reports coming out that Matthew Tkachuk should be ready to go come playoff time, and that's good news in these parts here. So can't wait to see him and Marchand on the ice at the same time. It's what we've been waiting for since the trade. We haven't got it, but I'm looking very forward to those two guys causing havoc come playoff time. But that's the first game up, 7:07 puck dropping in Sunrise, Florida for that one. Let's move on to the two top teams in the Metropolitan here, Carolina and Washington, and why we have, Brian, been spending an awful lot of time talking about Ovechkin, and well-deserved kudos. My goodness, anytime you pass Gretzky in anything, it's a ridiculous accomplishment. But the Capitals are 2-5 in their last 7 here, and they didn't look good against the Islanders. They haven't looked good at all. But they haven't played since Sunday. So what are we expecting out of Washington tonight against Carolina?
Yeah, the Hurricanes took the early overnight money, and now it just got hit again. It's now up to basically the 140 road favorite area. Over the last month, 5-on-5 play, Hurricanes 57.15 expected goal share, Capitals 51.82, both very good. Carolina currently sits in 4th place with the final home ice advantage in the East, and as Buster pointed out, that's something that they always shoot for, is you want to get your home ice advantage, and they're a single point behind Tampa Bay, 2 points ahead of Florida, and now that we talked about, Florida is getting healthy again, so it's going to be a fight to the finish here. They've won 2 of 3 versus the Capitals, while the host is a perfect 3-0 in this series. The last meeting was a 5-1 Carolina victory 8 days ago. Since that point, Carolina has dropped 3 straight games by multiple goal margins to Detroit, Boston, and Buffalo. So they've not only been losing, they've been losing by margins to teams who won't even be in the playoffs for the most part. Washington's well rested with the last 3 days off after a 4-1 road loss to the Islanders. They finished with 4 games against likely non-playoff opposition, so it's not that important of a game for Washington, and I think that's one of the reasons why Carolina has taken some money. Washington may be looking to rest a few players on tonight's card. I know they've had problems with injuries to their best goalies, so that's something to be concerned about. But they finish with 4 games against this non-playoff opposition, so this isn't that important. Capitals don't have the same urgency as the Hurricanes. They sit in first place with a 7-point lead over the Maple Leafs. And because of that, the normal playoff intensity, I don't think is going to be there tonight. So we're going to play this contest over the total of 6. Washington without their best goalie. Carolina is a team that's still fighting for the best spot possible in the playoffs, and it's not going to have the same intensity. Give us the over 6. I kind of like that one in this situation.
All right, liking the over 6. Can't argue with you there at all. Don, I heard Brindamore talk about how once the Hurricanes clinched that playoff spot, they were good to go. They're kind of taking their foot off the gas, and he's not happy about it. So both these teams have been a little sluggish over the last couple of weeks here. What do we get tonight?
Yeah, Brian broke this game down very similar to the way I see it as well. Obviously, that price is going up now for Carolina. I actually gave it out to my clients at minus 120 yesterday because I really believe that this might be a game that Washington doesn't want to go too hard for because, as Brian said, they have 4 games left, 2 against Columbus, 1 against the Islanders, 1 against Pittsburgh, and they need a couple of points to grab the home ice overall against in the East. And this is a game that it's tough battles when these two teams play. So, and also I believe this is their first game back after the Ovi breaks the goal streak. So that to me, even automatically puts me on Carolina because I think it ends up being a tough spot. Yes, I do realize that they've had 3 days off, but still, I could just imagine the celebration they probably had for 2 of them, right? So Carolina, again, they haven't been playing well. They are, just like the previous game we talked about with Florida, they're in a dogfight for positioning, and that's important. And they do have a game in hand on the other clubs, Tampa Bay, Florida, and Toronto. I just like Carolina in this spot because of those reasons alone. But as one of you mentioned, I believe it was you, Joe, both these teams are limping to the home wire here. Washington 2-5 last 7. Carolina has lost 3 straight. That's another reason I kind of like Carolina here to break that 3-game losing streak. I'm sure Brendan Maher must be just pulling his hair out because he wants to get in a spot where he can maybe the last couple games take them off. And me being a Montreal Canadiens fan, they play Carolina the last game and they might need those points. Who knows? So I'd love to see Carolina just sit everybody that Wednesday night, but that's another story. I like Carolina here. As far as the total, I tend to agree with Brian. It was 5.5 early. It's got been bet up to 6. Carolina's gone 3-1-1 to the over last 5. Washington 4-1-1 the last 6. Between the clubs, they've actually went 1 loss and 2 pushes. Those games were both lined at 6. So again, at the 6, it's a number that can be hit easy in the NHL, especially when I think you have a team in Washington that might not be playing so hard defensively tonight, and you got a team in Carolina that really wants this win to get them off that 3-game losing streak. I'm with Brian here. I like Carolina, and I do tend to like it over.
Liking Carolina, tending to lean to the over tonight as both teams looking to get back on track here in the final couple of regular season games. Don't forget, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're joining us here as Carmine and Andrew will be back before we know it. A little reprieve for both guys, so glad they were able to get away before what is going to be a absolutely crazy Stanley Cup playoffs here in no time. But we do have best bets coming up. We got one other game we're going to break down for you. Do want to let you know, including Brian Leonard, no doubts. Ready to roll here, whether it's Major League Baseball, of course, the NHL. What do you got available for your clients? Because it's a great opportunity to mix and match right now with Flex Picks being back and the ability to add 33% more any capper any day, in fact, Bryce. So what do you got going on at your page at WagerTalk?
Yeah, I think Marco D'Angelo's going in for surgery to add 33% more. He's not here. I can make fun of him. We're looking at our top baseball play and our top hockey play. I've got those up for clients right now, extended service clients. Still looking over the card. It's a smaller baseball card today, but we do have a nice card in hockey. I do want to point out, I think Don kind of touched on this a little bit when he was talking about positioning for the playoffs. The most important thing is getting in the playoffs or getting knocked out of the playoffs. Once you're in, you've got a chance. We've seen it over the years, especially in the NHL. You have teams that go from just making the playoffs, all of a sudden they're going all the way to the championship. We've seen it in the NFL over the years. The team squeaks in the wild card. So that's more important than which position you have. Although I think, secondly, it would be having home ice advantage. That's where it goes from there. And then whether you're number 2, 3, or 4, as long as you got home ice advantage, that is important, especially in the first round. We're looking at this Winnipeg-Dallas game. Overnight money came in on the Jets, and Dallas is down to a 120 favorite. I could see that based on how these two have played over the last month. 5-on-5 play, expected goal share has been a whopping 59.18 for Winnipeg and only 44.58 for the Stars. And this despite Winnipeg having a 9-4-0 mark, while the Stars have been very lucky to have an 8-2-4 record. Winnipeg's playing the better hockey right now. This is a battle for first place in the West. The Jets owning a 4-point advantage over Dallas with 4 games to go. Winnipeg's won 2 of the first 3 meetings, but the host is a perfect 3-0. This is the 6th straight game in a different city for the Jets, while Dallas has been home for 4 of the 5 games this month. So a scheduling advantage there for Dallas, and we know how good the ice is in Dallas. They're a very good home team. But this Winnipeg team, every time somebody's looking to write them off, they come back and get on another winning streak. So what makes this situation interesting, at least in my point, is the battle for 7th and 8th in the West. Minnesota's tied with the red-hot St. Louis Blues with a game in hand. And, both teams would like to avoid the Blues in the first round, but that's something they can't control here. It's just something to take a look at for the last couple of games of the season, see what happens there. They may want to rest, but if they've got to play St. Louis in the first round, they may let some of those other guys get in the action and try to avoid them. The first 3 meetings produced 5, 4, and 5 goals. I expect another really contested game here with first place on the line. I'm playing this game under the total.
Are we not going to mention the absolute disgustingness that Dallas was a part of just a couple of nights ago? For all of us that were on Dallas and thought that was going to be easy, we're just going to glance over the fact that you gave up 3 goals in a minute and lost the damn game. You got to be kidding me. But the good news is, Don, all the quotes out of Dallas have been, boy, they were not happy. Now, granted, backup goalie, so you know, Casey DeSmith, enjoy yourself. I'm sure he's still drunk. But what do? Do we expect redemption back here? Do you look at the total, or do you think Dallas gets it done?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? Again, that game was unbelievable. I actually can't believe I was not on that game, because those are the kind of games I've been losing all year. Just been one of those seasons for me in the NHL. Although the hockey gods made up for that, considering I wasn't on that unbelievable game that happened. I think there was an NHL record with Vancouver scoring those 3 goals in the minute. I was part of that Calgary loss last night where they were up 3-1 with about 3 minutes left and blew that game in overtime. So, still keeping my little streak up, playing those really bad beats this year in the NHL. But you know what, Joe, because of that, I really do like the Stars here. I think they have a, they still have a chance to catch the Jets, believe it or not, after that. And they have a favorable schedule the rest of the way. So they could go win out. And if they get a little help out of other teams, if they have to win tonight, obviously, and that puts them, I think, only 2 points behind. And Winnipeg does play Utah and Edmonton, so you never know if Dallas wins out. So I think it's way more important of a game to Dallas, but I know Winnipeg wants that first place overall. So going to be a great game tonight. I'll definitely be watching this one. But Dallas have, besides that little fiasco in their last game, they've been really good at home. They're 28-8-3 on the season. So that's a pretty good home club. Winnipeg also very good at home. And that's why first place is so important for both of these two clubs. That was a huge point that Dallas lost last game, that's for sure. And you have to know, as you said, Joe, they talked about how DeSmith was in net, but I'm not blaming anything. You cannot give up that 3-goal lead. You just cannot let that happen in the NHL. As a matter of fact, you can't do what Calgary did last night and cost them what little chance they had as a playoff. Now they're done. So those things can't happen. And Dallas are going to be good and pissed off about this. That is for fact. And especially what I like about Dallas tonight is that they have lost 3 straight games. And here's a team that hadn't lost 3 straight games all season. This will be the first time all season that they have lost 3 straight games. And even against the best team in the NHL, I believe Dallas breaks that, has a really good game and breaks that streak and does not go and lose their 4th straight. As for the total, totally agree, a little pun there, totally agree with Brian here. Both teams are playing under. I think they're the last, between the two clubs, they're 8-1-1 to the under the last 10. And that includes 3 games this season. And they're both on under trends. Winnipeg 7-3 to the under. Dallas 6-4 to the under. I like the under with Brian, but my play is going to be on the Dallas Stars here.
3 straight games, 3 straight losses for Dallas, having a lead in the third period. Yikes. It'd be interesting to see what do we get in the third period from Dallas here tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. That game puck dropping 8 o'clock Eastern time. That should be a good one, but we do have a 10-game slate, which means there are some best bets coming up here from these guys. I do want to remind you also, if you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? Do the thing with the buttons, guys. You know how it works. You hit the thumbs up or whatever that thing is. You hit the subscribe, the like, all of that good. Just play with the buttons as long as you guys are hanging out with us. Make sure you're following us over there on Instagram as well as TikTok. We appreciate you guys swinging by, hanging out as we get ready to close out the regular season here of the NHL. Postseason hockey, nothing like it. It'll be here before we know it, but there's no reason not to cash a few tickets before we get there. So, Brian Leonard, you are up first. Again, tell the folks what you got rolling at your page at WagerTalk.com, and then drop a best bet on us.
Yeah, we've got the 2 plays, our top 2 plays in baseball and hockey right now. And wouldn't it be funny if they come back after seeing the stats on this and they see we had more likes with the 3 of us than they would have had with them on the show. So a little spite slamming on that like button for this one, because I think I'd like to always have a little bit of hedge up on them and something to make fun of them for. And by the way, you mentioned the Dallas game. Marco sent me an email. He goes, "This is the worst loss I've ever taken in hockey." And then somebody tweeted on Twitter that it's the first time in the history of the NHL a team had a 3-goal lead with 2 minutes to go and lost. So you can't get any worse than that. So condolences to everyone out there who had Dallas. It will be a motivating factor in this one, but they got enough motivating factors. But my best bet, we're going to go back to that Carolina-Washington game. Unfortunately, I can't give out Carolina with the increased number in that, but a way to play that, I think, is the over here. Maybe the Carolina team total over, but I'm going for the over in the entire game. Over 6, and that'll be my best bet on today's show.
Over 6 in that Carolina-Washington game. Again, 2 of the top teams there in the Metro. Should be a fun one for sure in that game. And Don, how about you, man? Tell us what you got rolling over at your page at WagerTalk.com, and tell us which game you circled for a best bet tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. As you had mentioned, that flex pack is a great deal. You get it with all the cappers. That way you try them out, see what they do, see how they analyze games. So it's a great deal. Go grab that. For us on our homepage tonight, we have a 4% MLB best bet. Just getting started really on MLB season. Been putting out very light plays. Went 3-0 yesterday. Won our best bet in Major League Baseball. And we had a great year last year in Major League Baseball, plus 45 units on the season. So we're looking to have another good MLB season. So also, of course, the NHL playoffs are coming. I know that great deal that we had for Wager Talk was taken down now, but I'm sure you call in there, you could probably get a little bit better deal on mine and Brian's NHL and probably Carmine's, Andrew's NHL playoff package. So go over to WagerTalk.com and check all that out. Our show play is going to be one of the old Don Buster specials. We're going to use Vegas minus a half in the first period on the puck line, plus 130. That's an unbelievable price I got on that. Vegas we've talked about it all night, or all day, today here, about playoff positioning. Vegas is in that kind of spot too, and they need these points to keep up. If Dallas stumbles, they could pass Dallas and maybe get that second spot. And they want to stay ahead of Colorado. Just like Vegas here in this spot, of course, could never lay the big money on them. And the thing is, they play a Seattle team that a really, really bad spot. This will be their last game of a 5-game road trip. Their third game in 4 nights, that dreaded third and 4 nights. They just got beat up by Utah. And Vegas, the last time they played Seattle at home. They went 6-2. They were up 3-1 after the first period. And the thing is, Seattle, I just think they've got 3 games left. Might just go through the motions tonight. And Vegas, even though they're 2-2 the last couple of games, they haven't really played the best. They've gone to overtime. But where they haven't played the best, where they're really good, that's at home. They've lost their last 2 games, basically they no-showed against Winnipeg, losing 4-0. I was at that game. I've never seen a worse hockey game in a lot of years. I was telling Brian when I met him on Friday. Unbelievable, terrible hockey game. And then they lost to Edmonton at home. This is a Vegas club that is really, really good at home. They're a good home hockey team. And again, another reason why these teams like Dallas, Winnipeg, and Vegas want that home ice advantage. So we think they come out with purpose right away, Vegas. No screwing around tonight. And they take that first period lead. So we're going with Vegas. Minus a half, plus 130 on the first period puck line. And Dan, sorry, not Dan, Joe, Dan in the studio, Joe here, and Brian, I really appreciate you guys letting me come on with you guys today, talking hockey. I think we're going to do it again tomorrow. And best of luck to everyone in the chat. And as always, have a great day, everybody.
Appreciate it, Don. Listen, I've been called worse, so I'll take Dan. That's fine there. Brian Leonard would encourage you guys to go visit him over at his page at WagerTalk.com, as well as Don Buster. Again, as we wrap up the regular season in the NHL, absolutely no reason not to cash a few tickets along the way as we get ready for the playoffs. I'm wondering if Johnny Detroit wants to make a little wager tonight with his Red Wings, and my Panthers. Should be interesting to see how that comes out. But guys, as always, we appreciate it. Shout out to Ryan, Chuck Pod, Titan CT. I believe the Flop Network in the house on IG there also talking about Washington running the tables here and winning it all. We appreciate the input as always, guys. Carmine will be back, I think, Dan, or have we lost Carmine for the rest of the week here? Do we know? Or is Carmine just a lazy,
well, it depends. He's probably going to lose his poker tournament. So if he loses here in the first round, he'll be back. If not, they're stuck with one of us again tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so here I am thinking I'm filling in because he's sick. He needs a breather. But no, what he needs is he's at a poker tournament. Well, he can kiss my you-know-what. All right, guys, enjoy. As always, PuckTime be back again tomorrow. And I've played poker with Carm, so I assure you, Carm will be back tomorrow in this seat. I can assure you of that, guys. Best of luck tonight. We'll see you again soon here on PuckTime.